So I knew it was going to be a big task, but not as big as what I thought it would be. That for me shows kind of like the power of football.
Being a manager at a football club is a notoriously stressful job. From team selection headaches to organisation of travel, it certainly takes a lot of an individual. However, in Newport City Sam Houldsworth's case, he combines this with secretarial and ownership duties. So, what was his journey into this juggling act?
So being assistant manager of Ponty Town, we just won the league, then started the season. We actually played Newport City at the start of the season, beat them 6-0, and we knew there was a lot of problems at the club. But after the club, I was speaking to their manager, who I knew, a few of their players I knew, and they were owned/ran by someone who was a technical director of Oxford United, so in the English Pyramid. He seemed to know what he was on about. He had a chat with me. I said that I wanted a new challenge, so I'd come in and help out, join the manager at the time. And just thought of it as like, right, go there, bomb the league, struggling club, try and save them. And then it just all unravelled, and within, I'd say 5 or 6 games, I was owner of the club, /chairman /everything else, and just thinking, right, I'm in the thick of things with a club that's fully in debt and was about to fold at the start of the season. It was fine at the time. I didn't have any kids. I think I was single, so that helped as well. So all my time was focused on the football club. So I knew it was going to be a big task, but not as big as what I thought it would be.
The Newport Stadium, formerly inhabited to the city's more famous neighbours county, is a major attraction to fans and players alike, with a full capacity of over 5,000 capable.
It's an outstanding facility. It's Newport County's old stadium. They train there now. We share now with Newport Rugby, who are flying, winning their league at the kind of near the highest level that they can play at. So for us, and Newport Live, who run it, they've been great with us from start to finish. Unfortunately, at the start, prices and the cost of playing there, but we get a really good deal. They look after us. The boys love being in a stadium where warm-up, music's on. It's a most professional stadium in the league, and bar Llanelli, probably one of the best in the Welsh League. So for me, I was thinking, right, if we're going to grow and we're going to be a part of this city in terms of a club that can progress, we need the foundations. And the foundations, they weren't financial, but the setup and the Newport Village, what's there, the 3G around the corner, it's all there to progress.
Good evening. The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone. From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
In 2020, the world was rocked by the COVID-19 pandemic. This affected everyone in different ways, and for Sam, it was no different.
Yeah, good, because I tell you what, the break wasn't too bad initially. It was like I was thinking, right, this is quite nice. Got my weekends back, time with the kids, time with the family. I thought, this is all right. Roll on 2 or 3 weeks of it, and you're like, just miss football. It's a release. I think football's a release for most lads, but having kind of normal life back makes you appreciate things a lot more. And the weekend of football and a training session in the week, that's all we do. Train once, play once, but I appreciate it more.
With the pandemic grinding lives and plans to a halt, the prevalence of mental health from a footballing perspective is growing ever more.
It's like everyone and everything. If you have a bad day at work, you want to kind of leave it at work, but then you can't. And you get to football, and at this level of football, you've got to be prepared for other players have different issues, family, work, car breaking down. Just silly, the amount of excuses, or I say excuses or reasons why people can't get to football, you've just got to take it on the chin. But drip feeding in like home life or rush into a game, you haven't got all day to prep for a Friday night game. You've got to go to work, feed the kids, put them to bed, get to football, fill the car up with football stuff, finish football. Everything's involved. Football's become part of my home life, and my home life is 100% a part of football. It's challenging and it's hard for people to talk about, but mental health wise, for the last 12 to 18 months has been struggling, and everything chips into that. And I always say to the boys at football, no one really knows what's going on in people's lives, and when you sat in that change room for the 90 minutes or the couple of hours that you're there, no one really discusses it and talks about it. You're there for one reason. Everyone's there to kind of win a football game, to be with their friends. And for me, that's what I try to do myself. I go there, I try to switch off, come away from things that I'm struggling with. And with the children, like, I'm trying to think to myself, right, as I get older now, and there's a lot of people are thinking, what do you want your kids to see and what do you want them to think of you? And look, my dad was in football, that's why I liked football. My brother was in football. I think you get something like sport, for other people it could be anything, but it's part of your life. And that gives me a bit of satisfaction as well, that a lot of the boys who might be struggling live for football on the weekend. There's one player in particular at the club, I don't need to say his name, but I've been mates with him for years. Unbelievable player, but more in the sense of unbelievable person. So he's gone through a lot in the last few years, and he's in and out of football, and some of the boys might know and some of the boys might not know, but as a friend, like, I'm there to support him 100%. And to be honest, with the club, I think that's why a lot of the lads buy into the club, is because I buy into them as people. If you can't go and pay someone 50 quid at the end of the game like other teams would do, and you need to make people feel welcome, a lot of it is outside of football. During the week I'll be messaging and speaking to players. I think that's where my wife kind of, 10 o'clock phone call and there's a player that's injured himself or a player that's struggling to pay rent. But this one player has had his own issues going on, and I got a football, treat him like a football player. As soon as they're outside of football, back to being friends. And we've managed to do that for years, no matter how much we've kind of like got on each other's nerves or fallen out. And that for me shows kind of like the power of football. Yeah, it's a juggling act, but for good reasons.
Since recording, Sam has stepped down from managerial duties in order to focus on off-field activities, but the work he has done in charge of the Steelmen on-field will not be forgotten in a hurry.